Effective communication is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Whether you're speaking to one person or addressing a crowd, the way you convey your thoughts can make all the difference between being understood and being ignored. Now, here's the truth about communication. It's not just about what you say. It's about how you say it, when you say it, and most importantly, how it's received by the other person. Communication is a two-way street, and being effective requires you to be intentional in every interaction. The ability to communicate well can improve your relationships, open doors in your career, and help you make a lasting impact on those around you. But good communication doesn't happen by accident. It's a skill that requires practice, self-awareness, and a commitment to improvement. As we explore what it takes to become an effective communicator, I want you to think about communication not just as a skill, but as an opportunity. Every word you say, every gesture you make, and every moment you spend listening is a chance to connect with others in a meaningful way. Communication is not just a tool for exchanging information. It's the foundation for building trust, understanding, and influence. The strategies we're about to discuss are practical and timeless. They're not about gimmicks or shortcuts. They're about mastering the fundamentals. And when you get the fundamentals right, you'll find that your ability to connect, persuade, and inspire will transform in ways you never imagined. The first essential trick to master effective communication is learning how to listen with intention. Listening is one of the most underrated skills in communication, and yet it is one of the most important. When we think of communication, we often think of speaking what we say, how we say it, and the impression we leave. But true connection begins not with what you say, but with how well you listen. Listening with intention is about more than just hearing words. It's about being fully present in the moment, paying attention to not only the content of the conversation, but the emotions, tone, and meaning behind the words. Most people listen to respond. They're already forming their next sentence while the other person is still speaking. But if you want to be an effective communicator, you must shift your focus. Listen to understand, not just to reply. Think of a time when you felt truly heard. Maybe it was during a conversation with a close friend or a mentor. The person wasn't just nodding along, they were actively engaged, asking questions and reflecting back what you said. That's what intentional listening looks like. It's about making the other person feel valued, respected, and understood. And here's the irony. When you listen with intention, you often end up saying less, but communicating more. To listen with intention, start by eliminating distractions. Give the other person your full attention. In today's world where distractions are everywhere, giving someone your undivided attention is one of the most powerful ways to show that you care. It sends a message that says, "You matter to me." Next, focus on what the other person is saying, not on what you're going to say next. It's natural to want to jump in with your thoughts, advice, or opinions, but resist the urge. Instead, let the other person speak freely and give them the space to fully express themselves. Often people don't need you to solve their problems. They just need someone to listen. Another key to listening with intention is to observe nonverbal cues. Communication isn't just about words, it's about body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice. Pay attention to the person's posture, gestures, and eye contact. Are they excited, nervous, or hesitant? Sometimes what's left unsaid speaks louder than the words themselves. When the other person is finished speaking, take a moment to reflect on what they've said before responding. You can paraphrase their words to show that you understand. This simple act of reflection can build trust and encourage deeper conversations. Ask questions that invite the other person to open up further. Not just any questions, but thoughtful, open-ended ones that show you're genuinely interested. Questions like, "Can you tell me more about that?" Or, "How did that make you feel?" can lead to richer, more meaningful dialogue. And when you ask questions, listen to the answers without interrupting. Listening with intention means being comfortable with silence. Many people feel the need to fill every pause in a conversation, but silence can be a powerful tool. It gives the other person time to gather their thoughts and encourages them to share more. It shows that you're not rushing the conversation. You're allowing it to unfold naturally. Finally, remember that listening with intention isn't just about the other person. It's about you. It's about cultivating patience, curiosity, and humility. It's about recognizing that you don't have all the answers and that every conversation is an opportunity to learn. When you listen with intention, you create an environment where people feel safe, respected, and valued. And when people feel valued, they're more likely to open up, share their ideas, and engage with you on a deeper level. This is where real communication begins, when listening becomes an act of connection, not just a pause between speaking. The second essential trick to effective communication is mastering the power of pausing. Pausing is one of the simplest yet most underutilized tools in communication. A well-timed pause can add clarity, emphasize key points, and make your words more impactful. It's not just about filling the silence with noise. It's about allowing space for your message to land. When you pause, you give your listener time to process what you've said. Think of it like planting a seed. You can't just scatter seeds without giving them a moment to settle in the soil. The pause is that settling moment. It gives your words room to breathe and ensures they aren't lost in a rush of information. A pause creates rhythm, and rhythm makes communication more engaging and memorable. Many people fear silence in conversation. They feel compelled to fill every moment with words, worried that a pause might make them seem unsure or awkward. But the opposite is true. Pausing conveys confidence. It shows that you're comfortable with silence, that you're in control of the conversation, and that you're deliberate in what you say. When you rush through your words, you risk coming across as nervous or unprepared. A pause, however, gives you an air of authority and composure. Pausing can help you gather your thoughts. Sometimes, in the heat of the moment, you might feel the urge to respond quickly, but rushing often leads to misunderstandings or poorly chosen words. Instead, take a breath, think about what you want to say, and then proceed. That brief moment can mean the difference between clarity and confusion. Pauses are particularly powerful in storytelling or when delivering important messages. Imagine you're sharing a personal experience or presenting an idea to a group. When you reach a critical point in your story or a key takeaway in your message, a pause draws attention to it. It creates anticipation, making the listener lean in and focus. It's like highlighting a sentence in a book. Your pause tells the audience, this is important. Pay attention. Pausing isn't just about when you stop speaking. It's about how long you pause. Too short, and the moment passes unnoticed. Too long, and it might feel awkward. The sweet spot is just enough time to let your words resonate, but not so much that it disrupts the flow. Good rule of thumb is to pause for a count of 2 or 3 after making a significant point. It feels natural, yet intentional.